Do, 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 do. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1643. Today, we are talking about taking stock of life's accomplishments. What have you accomplished over your lifetime to date? It could be anything. It could be anything personal. It could be something that's personal. It could be something that's career related. It could be something to do with a passion that you have. It could be something to do with personal growth. So yes, let's talk taking stock. Calling it just taking stock. So I want to welcome, let's see, what are we doing? Yeah. So I want to welcome everybody that's tuned in on Facebook, everybody that is tuned in on YouTube, everybody that is tuned in on TikTok. Welcome. It is so great to see you all. And thank you all for tuning in. I very much appreciate people coming in and joining us. It's an awesome thing. So tonight we're talking about taking stock of life's accomplishments. Why do we want to take stock? Well, one of the things one of the reasons is so you can see where you have come from, what you have achieved. Because people go, oh, I don't do much. Some people get a little lost on the fact that they've accomplished more than they think they have. And I find this a very common thing when I'm talking with people when they say, well, I don't know what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they keep going on. And I'm sort of like, okay, well, what accomplishment? I haven't had any accomplishments. This is okay. Let's go. Let's key this up a little bit. And you also want to write down your accomplishments as well. And there's two reasons for this. The first reason is when you're having a not so good day, so it's a little gray, it's not sparkling as well as normal. You can go to that journal entry where you've got all your accomplishments listed and actually read through that. And by the time you get through reading it, you're sort of like, wow, your mood has lifted, your vibration has gone up a little bit. You're feeling a little better about yourself. That sparkle is starting to shine a little more. The dullness gets rubbed away and the sparkle comes out. And, it can be anything from, let's see, years ago, I was in BNI, Business Network International. I was a member of that. And we had these one sheets. And the one sheet would be the front page that they would read out before you gave your 10-minute presentation, and they had all this information. But then they had these other sheets that were attached at the back. So when you did your one-to-ones, meetings with other people, I would always go and look and see what their accomplishments were. And they all had business stuff in there. And this is what they've done in their business. They're the number one and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, you've got this here. I said, do you have any kids? They're sort of like, yeah. I said, so isn't it an accomplishment being a parent and helping raise your children, that you've successfully raised your children to, there's been the bumps in the road and everything else. And they're sort of like, oh, yeah. And I said, and, what accomplishments did you achieve at school, in your education? Do you have degrees? Any degrees? Do you have any certifications, qualifications, and all of that you've done for your businesses or for a hobby that you're interested in? They're like, oh, yeah. And I said, and what about relationships? I said, are you married? They're like, yeah. I said, how long have you been married? And just pulling this information out, because people just think accomplishments means their career, their business that they're working on. No, accomplishments encompass everything. It's from, did you successfully survive your childhood? Something as simple as that. Did you go to school? Did you get any, did you graduate from high school? Did you graduate from higher education, like universities? Maybe it was a 2-year community college. You got an associate's degree. Maybe you went to trade school and you qualified with that. Maybe you spent time in the military or are still in the military and you've got all those little, those little color medals and everything else. And, maybe there's different skills. Like when I was in the military, just surviving basic boot camp, man, that's a big accomplishment for me. I survived 13 weeks of boot camp. That's huge as far as I was concerned, because I got through it all. I got through basically the abuse that they would throw at you at the time. And this was back, 40 years ago, jeepers. This was almost 40 years ago. And times are very different about how they treated the recruits that came through to what they are now. But I survived. I got through it all. I got all my exams done. And I was somebody in school where I was failing exams because I had exam anxieties. I would freeze up. The thing that annoyed the teachers is they knew I knew the information. I would participate in class. I would get all the tests done in class. Not a problem. having to sit those exams, bomb out. And so the guidance counselor actually taught me a really cool trick to do. He says, don't even pick up the pencil. He says, look at when you get told that you can turn the exam over, he says, read through everything. Now, exams in New Zealand were very different to what I found here in the US. In the US, it's all multiple choice. And I'm like, well, this is going to be easy because I know it's not that answer. I know it's not that one. And it could be this one or that one. And then I'll work it out. But here's a really cool thing. In New Zealand, we had multiple choice, short answers, long answers. So we actually had to write stuff out. We had to explain things. If we're doing math, we had to explain the equation that we had done. It wasn't just a simple A, B, C, or D, which are these answers. So we actually had to work at it. He says, go through and just read the questions. Don't even answer them. He says, don't even think about the questions, what the answer could be. Just read the questions. Then on the second time, and he says, the second time through, I want you to answer the questions, but not with a pencil. Just answer them up here in your head. I'm like, okay. And then the third time through, pick up the pencil and start answering with the pencil this time. And he says, don't even, if they're multiple choice questions there, don't even look to see what it is. Just answer the question in your head first. Then when you're going through with your pencil the third time, now you're more comfortable. You know what the questions are. You've already tapped into that part of the brain where the knowledge is. And now you can go, and all of a sudden, boom, like overnight, my scores went up drastically on my exams and everything else. And that's what it was. It was just taking that time to calm myself down, to read through the questions, then read it through a second time, going, well, I know this. I got this. I know this. And that helped me through. So when I was in the Air Force and having to do all these tests and everything else, I just did the exact same thing. Would read through the questions, read them through, read them through, then read and answer them in my head, then read and answer them with a pencil. So just being able to get through exams was a major accomplishment for me in high school. And then later on in life as well. I kept up that system the whole way through, except when they do placement exams and it's on a computer and you have to answer the question before you can move on to the next one. Those ones creep me out. I don't have time. I get panicky on those ones. But also too, looking, how long have you been in a relationship with somebody? That's something to celebrate. Parents this year will be celebrating 59 years. I just saw a post today from my aunt and uncle who got married before my parents did, and they're celebrating their that yesterday in New Zealand, they celebrated their 59th wedding anniversary. And I'm like, oh, my parents are celebrating 50. That means next year they're celebrating 60. Whoo, that's a huge accomplishment. So yes, so next year my parents will be celebrating their 60th wedding anniversaries. I'm super stoked about that. And my aunt and uncle as well, because they got married the same year. One got married in January and one was in March. So, relationships, where have you come emotionally, with intelligence and confidence and developing? Who was I back when I was a kid? I was always the new kid on the block at school. We traveled around a lot. We didn't travel. We did travel a lot around New Zealand, but we moved a lot around New Zealand. So I was always the new kid. I was the one that was always being bullied because I was the new kid. I had to learn to stand up for myself. That's where I got my confidence from in new situations. I had to learn how to make friends. I had to learn how to fit into new environments as we went in. I'm still an outgoing introvert, which means I love being around people, but they just drain my energy. And then I have to go and do my introvert thing of hiding myself away, recharging my batteries before I go into the next situation where there's a lot of people. And it doesn't take a lot of people. It could be 2 or 3 people and they can just drain my energy. Career accomplishments, achievements. Let's see. So personal growth, where have you come? What are some of the things that you have overcome? What are some of the challenges you've overcome? I survived, I survived. There were days that I didn't think I would survive my husband's cancer. He had cancer for 9 years, 8 months, and 3 days from the day of diagnosis to the day he passed. Now I'm surviving widowhood. Not an easy thing to do on some days. But I'm getting through it. And my accomplishment is that I am surviving. I am moving forward. Yes, I have days where it's not so good, but I keep remembering my promise to keep moving forward. I will never move on from his passing, but I can keep moving forward. So there's that as well. We were married for almost 19 years. What career achievements have, look at all the different jobs that you've had over the years. What accomplishments have you made? What promotions did you get? Was there a challenging project you had to do and that you figured it out? There are times in some of the work that I have now where people come to me with problems. So we're going to help chat. They come to me with problems and I'm sort of like, and I look at it, the first one, I'm like, there has to be a little more to this. And I will actually go in and dig a little deeper. And when I dig a little deeper and do a little investigation, it's like with genealogy. This is one of my greatest accomplishments with genealogy is finding that missing person or finding that missing link, that little piece of information that blows everything wide open. Because sometimes you've got, is this Robert the right Robert, or is it this Robert that's the right Robert? And you're having to do this investigation thing and compare them. And then you finally find, I went through 183 John Eakins that was born in a 5-year period in one area of England, in Huntingdonshire in England, to find the one that fitted in my family tree. 183 people I went through to find the one that fitted in my tree. That's one of my biggest accomplishments in genealogy. Genealogy now, I have over 50 family trees on Ancestry that are, most of them are clients. There's 2 that are mine for my own family, and the rest are all clients. So I have, and being able to help them discover their roots is another great accomplishment that I have. Resilience through challenges. This is sharing stories of resilience and emphasizing strength that it takes to overcome setbacks, failures, and personal struggles. I've had a lot of experience with that. And I got through it. And I know I can get through it. I have the skills. Sometimes I have to learn to be a little stronger. I have to be a little more confident. I have to be a little more forward on some things to get through, rather than sitting there and hiding. That's not me. It's get up, get moving, find a way. There's always a way. I don't think I've come across anything, trying to think, in the accomplishments I've had through life, I don't think I've come across anything that I've turned around and says, I give up. There are times I've come close to saying that, and there are times I've actually said that. That's it. I'm done. I give up. And then it's sort of like, and there's a little voice in the back of my head, and it always happens. This little voice comes from this area of my head down here. This little voice says, try again, keep going, take another step forward. It's that little voice, my guardian angel. I told her that's where he lives, back here. That's where his voice comes from. My little guardian angel says, try again, keep moving forward, try this direction. Or I somehow get steered in that direction. Impact on others. Highlight, acts of kindness, mentorship, and community service that you've done, because these are significant accomplishments as well. I've mentored cancer caregivers. I've mentored cancer caregivers through an organization where they match up caregiver with caregiver or cancer patient with cancer patient. It's one-on-one mentoring. Immerman Angels, amazing organization. Absolutely loved the people I got to meet through that. But once Brad passed, I couldn't deal with it for a while. Am I getting back to that place? Yeah, probably. But since then, I've met other people who are new widows or widowers, and just been there and talking with them and helping them through, being brand new, her spouse just passed, or from somebody who's had a spouse that's passed a while ago and they're struggling a little bit, just helping them through, being that mentor to them, being a friend. So that's, having that impact on others. Do you have friendships that have lasted years? When Brad passed, him and his best friend have been best friends since they were like 11. And Brad was 57 when he passed. So, that's over 40 years, those two have been friends. That was a great accomplishment for them. Pursuing your passions and your hobbies, emphasizing the importance of engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It's like, yes, I love this. Whether it's mastering a craft, playing a sport, playing a sport. Did you win? Did you not win? If you didn't win, what did you learn about it? Maybe there was some reason that you didn't win, but you've still got that positive attitude. Like, it's okay. We don't win every game. We didn't win this one, and that's all right. We can just learn from this one and keep moving forward. It's taking those accomplishments that you learn, playing a sport, engaging in creative pursuits, things that enrich your life, and the achievements are achievements in themselves. Health and wellness goals. Maybe you're somebody who has released, and I'm using the word release for a reason. It is all about language. I don't believe in weight loss. I believe in weight release. Because when you lose something, the subconscious goes, oh, we've lost something. Let's go find it. Yes. But if you release the weight, my thought is I'm releasing weight into the universe for somebody who needs it. There are people out there that need to put on weight for their health. And the universe works in checks and balances. So if you release something here, it has to be picked up somewhere else. So by releasing weight for somebody who needs it, getting rid of my excess weight for somebody who needs it, that's helping that person. So it's all about mindset on that one. So health and wellness goals, I have been releasing weight slowly and gradually. I've lost, let's see, the other day I did a measurement around my waist and I'd lost 1.5 inches in a month since I'd last done the measurements around my waist. I have no idea how many pounds that is. Don't know, don't care. I just know my clothes are getting bigger and looser. See, they're getting bigger and looser on me. But the fact that I've lost 1.5 inches off my waist is a huge accomplishment for me. And I'm not doing it like going out there and ripping it up. And, some people this is their diet plan, this is the thing. I'm making small changes. It's just little changes here and there. It's making slight changes in the way that I eat or when I eat and timing things out, making sure I eat my little, let's try this in the diet and see how that goes. Try this on the eating plan and see how it goes. I'm not following any eating plan, not following any exercise routine or anything else. Zeffie and I, we walk about 2 miles a day. Some days we walk more than others. Sometimes we get up to 6-7 miles a day, but most days we're doing 2 miles a day when we go for our walk in the morning and the evening. And that's been regularly. That's constant. That's been constant. So sometimes those consistent things can help you. It's just those small changes that make the big difference. That's what I was trying to get to. The small changes that make the big difference. But, celebrate those. 1.5 inches. That's a huge accomplishment for me. That's awesome. And to me, by making those small little changes, just a little change here, a little change there, and then you see the accomplishment that comes with it. It's sort of like, it doesn't seem like a big deal because I haven't made a big deal out of it. I'm making that little change here and a little change there. And it's seamless. So it's not sort of like, oh, we're going on this eating plan. As of today, we're eating this. Yeah. Some people that will work for them brilliantly. This one, not so much. I'm a little change here and a little change there. And that's how I operate. And some people are like me. They need a little change, a little change. Others, it's like, boom, here's the line. Once we step across this, we're no longer eating this. There's our no eat list. And this is what we're allowed to eat. And this is what we have to do for an exercise plan. And Yeah, no, not this girl. This one is small changes. Because small changes make it seamless. They are easier to incorporate. And they have a lasting impact. For me, anyway, that's how I do. Learning and education. Discuss accomplishments of lifelong learning, whether it's formal education, self-taught skills, or exploring new interests. Emphasize that learning at any stage in life is a valuable achievement, and it is. Anytime that you make any achievement of anything, when I finish a course, I'm happy that I finished a course. I do a lot of courses online from Center of Excellence, which is based in the UK. I do a lot of their courses online and I learn all sorts of different things. I have an interest in essential oils. So I'm doing an essential oils course right now so I can learn how to use these oils better. I love my oils. If you were watching the other day when we were talking about overcoming jet lag, we were talking about peppermint, lavender, and lemon. No, lavender, we got there, lemon, peppermint, and lavender, how these three together help me with jet lag issues. They also help with allergies as well. From my personal experience. Will they work for you? Maybe. Do the same things? Maybe. So learning about things that you're interested in as well is another great accomplishment as well. So because it's a lot of times it's self-taught. I'm teaching myself how to use a particular CRM system at the moment and to get courses into there. So, that's just a skill that I want to have. It's something I want to do. And then lastly, we've got embracing life's transitions. This is a big one. Things like moving to a new city, transitioning from a corporate job to being self-employed, becoming a parent is another one. I became a step parent. That was my introduction into parenthood. Became a step parent. I've been an aunt. Found out I'm going to become an aunt again in September. So I'm looking forward to that. There'll be, let's see, on my side of the family, that'll be my ninth niece or nephew. I don't know. Ninth? Yes, ninth. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. So I'll either be an aunt or an uncle. Anyway, but it's those transitions, moving, changing jobs. Those are all accomplishments, being able to settle in. How quickly can you settle in? How quickly can you network? How quickly can you make friends? How quickly can you make new acquaintances? Finding somebody to do a joint venture with, collaboration with others, and things like that. These are all things that, write them all down. Why are we writing them down? We're writing them down so that on days when we're not feeling so good, we can go pick that up and we can look at what we've accomplished so far in life. And we know that we've got many more things that we can go out and accomplish. And that's kind of like a Kickstarter. I like it when I can go back and see what I've accomplished over life. In fact, somebody, a friend of mine posted on Facebook today was, name something that you have done in your life that nobody else that I know would have done. And there was some really interesting, I was reading through the comments earlier. There are some great comments in there about what people have done with their life that they think that nobody else that this particular person knows would have done. And things like some of them had been in a movie with Tim Allen. There was another one that had won an Oscar. There was somebody else who had sold something to Tim Allen. He came up quite a bit in that one. Two different people off of that. Let's see. My one in there was I'd served in the Royal New Zealand Air Force, because I don't know how many New Zealanders he knows that would have done that. Another one of mine is today is, I've been doing at least one live/podcast a day for 1,643 days. This is day 1,643. So, and some days I did two, especially 2020 going into 2021. I was doing two a day. I was doing one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. And sometimes I was getting on in the middle of the day as well. These days, it's usually just one a day. Sometimes I will get on, occasionally I will get on and do a second or a third one during a day as well. Depends on what I'm doing. So, 1,643 days in a row, no breaks, none whatsoever. I haven't traveled internationally yet, so that's going to be interesting when I do go home to New Zealand, because I usually do it 6 p.m. Pacific time, which at the time, depending on when I go to New Zealand, will either be 1 p.m. in the afternoon New Zealand time the following day, or it will be 2 p.m. in New Zealand the following day. So that's going to be interesting having to do that based on where we are and what we're doing and things like that. So yes, I'm looking forward to that challenge when it comes up. But, what have you done? And the other reason that you write down all your accomplishments and stuff is so you can leave it for your descendants that are going to be coming, for the generations that are going to be coming after you. Leaving them to find out what did your what accomplishments did your second great grandfather, your second great grandfather have, or second great grandmother have, or your great aunt. What were some of the accomplishments of things that they did during their life? And this is a way that you can tell your story through, these are things that I have done during my life. These are things that I have accomplished during life and things like that. So, what are your accomplishments? What have you accomplished? Put some of your accomplishments in the comments. Would be great to hear those. And I just want to, and I think that's it from today. Yeah, that's it from my list. I have my list typed up over here. So that's it from my list. So it's been a super fantastic sparkling day. You guys go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We will be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Those that tuned in from Facebook, those that tuned in from YouTube, and those of you who tuned in on TikTok. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the likes and the loves and everything else that's been going on the different platforms. Truly appreciate it. And I appreciate you spending some of your evening with us on our live/podcast. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. He konera.